Hey, everybody. Good afternoon. Welcome to the CAMP, the Coalition of Automotive Management Professionals Facebook page. And oh, by the way, I also published this on the Remarkable Results Radio page and my LinkedIn page, so that we're getting some really big reach. My guest today on this campsite think tank is Bob Greenwood, and we are going to talk about monkey business and the next generation. Hi, Bob. How are you, man?
Hey, Carm. How you doing?
I'm a good man. Nice to
Good.
see you. Thank you. We've been doing about every 3 weeks now. We're going to have a coach come on and just share some of their great wisdom. And it's all part of CAMP, the Coalition of Automotive Management Professionals, a great website that's out there. And the website is sitting here on the screen. Look up top, everyone. Let me see, the automotiveprofessionals.org website. And that is a group of automotive aftermarket coaches that have put an association together, an organization together to work together to improve the automotive. And so happy to actually be part of that as an associate member. So thank you guys for having me. But please spend some time on the Coalition of Automotive Management Professionals website. A lot of great stuff there that will really, really help you. Well, look at, as far as the whole campsite program, Robert, I know you want to talk about monkey business and the next generation. This is a fascinating, if you will, title. I'm sure we're going to have fun with it. And I think it starts with a story, right?
Yeah, I have a story I'd like to share. It takes maybe about 10 minutes. So I'd like to get started on it.
Sure.
And there's a whole generation of young managers out there that are getting increasingly frustrated. But here's why. You know, a lot of young shop managers want to take a new approach to business. They've taken the time to study the industry and are starting to truly understand their markets. They're going to classes to learn how to secure business, but for tomorrow, not the way it was done, but for tomorrow. For them, change is not an option. It's an imperative. But the problem is they don't seem to have the power to implement those changes. The real authority still rests in the hands of the previous generation, those who built the business or took it over decades ago, whose notion of how to run things is stuck in an outdated paradigm. Now think about this. Let me draw an analogy that might make the situation clear for you. There's a cage with 5 monkeys in it. A banana hangs on a string above a set of stairs in the middle of the cage. Inevitably, a sharp-eyed monkey actually notices the banana and decides to retrieve it. But as soon as he touches the stairs, however, everyone gets sprayed with cold, cold water. In the chaos that ensues, the intrepid monkey is frightened away from the stairs. Eventually, though, another monkey is lured by that nice yellow banana. Again, as soon as he touches the stairs, everyone gets sprayed with cold water. Well, by now, they've begun to associate the stairs with cruel, cold water. And if another monkey gets interested in the banana, they might try to discourage him. And after a few more soakings, they'll try to physically prevent anyone from going near those stairs. Now we're going to change things up a bit here. Let me put it to you this way. We'll put away the cold water and replace one of those monkeys with a brand new monkey. The new monkey sees the banana and wants to climb the stairs. But to his surprise and horror, all the other monkeys attack him when he tries to do that. After another attempt and subsequent attack, he starts to realize that he's not allowed to climb those stairs. Now remove another original of the 5 monkeys. Bring in another new one and see what happens. Again, when the newcomer goes to that stairs, he's attacked. Even the previous newcomer has learned the behavior, and he adds his punishment with enthusiasm. If you replace the 3rd original monkey with a new one, and then the 4th, and then the 5th, you'll find that every time a newcomer goes to the stairs, he gets attacked. Eventually, none of the monkeys in the cage has ever been sprayed with cold water, but they continue the attacks. They don't know why they aren't allowed to climb the stairs. They don't know why they should beat anyone who tries. But they do it nonetheless. Why? Here we go. Because that's the way it's done around here. Does this analogy pertain at all in your shop? Your people? Are irrational constraints holding your company back? The older generation, the ones who still hold the authority over the business, are not learning new behaviors. They refuse to change. They're not keeping up to date with new strategies, new tactics. In their minds, they've seen it all before, and there's no use changing things up. Been there, done that, is their mantra. And if you press them, they'll tell you how many years they have before retirement. They're not about to shake things up. No way. They're sticking with the standard thinking and their old routines. They're going through the motions that they are used to. Meanwhile, profits keep dropping in the company. It is time to come to grips with this mentality in the aftermarket. We need to address this kind of apathy, this reluctance to try something new. It's time to embrace a new vision based on clear understandings. Let's go for the banana. Want to spark some fireworks? Well, share this whole podcast with the old guard, the previous generation that is just putting in time until retirement, the real authorities who can't stomach change. They will react very strongly to these ideas because no one likes gut-wrenching change. But have your notes ready. Bring a folder full of facts so you can help them see the light. Be prepared to talk things out. People who are stuck in a rut or living in the dark ages of outdated thinking need to be coaxed into a new paradigm. Time is wasting. If you wait the 5 years until they retire, that'll be 5 years of lost momentum, 5 years of not getting ready for electric vehicles, autonomous cars, hybrid telematics, connectivity, and new software platforms. 5 years of staying behind the competition. 5 years of not catering to the changing needs of the consumer. 5 years of missed classes and new management strategies. Today's real authority needs to be challenged with facts and ideas. And if they refuse to take action, then you know where you'll be in a few years, in a very deep hole with little hope of getting out. This is tough talk, I know. But as an industry, we must start having tough discussions. Too many businesses, too many careers, too many families are harmed by the inertia of the generation that is. Quite frankly, that generation is out of touch. If this seems hysterical to you, maybe you're part of the old guard in the business, the one that's refusing to change. If this article actually makes sense to you, find a way to wake up the old guard. You and your staff deserve a fighting chance to thrive in the future. You have the right to go for the banana. That's my story.
Well, that's a great story, and it's so true. Damn. I think when I was in my 20s or 30s, Robert, I heard the same story. And it is so poignant, generation to generation to generation. And why, when we were in our 20s and 30s, that we were wanting to change so much inside the organizations that we were in, and now we're reluctant to change. And is it because we see retirement in front of us, or we see there's so much change? I don't have the bandwidth to keep up with it. I've hired poorly. I don't have any great people on my staff. I'm the one who has to bear all the weight. Yeah. But yet, think of all the success we continue to hear. Think of how this industry is blossoming and growing. And to your point, oh my God, it's the old guard. Yeah. That why the old guard, if you're listening and you're the old guard, step aside and give. I bet you, I'm just going to guess that there's one or two people inside of every organization that just want a chance to try something new.
Yes. And you know, it's pretty much, I hate to say it, people over 50 are the ones that are stuck in inertia. And it is hard to change. But we are in a profession today that demands change. And perhaps it is your time to wind down and get out and pass the business on to the next generation. I would encourage you to do that. If you have staff that can take over the business, fantastic, or family, fantastic. It's time to let them go at it, though, because there are new strategies. There's new things to measure. There's new things of culture to develop today. And we've got to understand that if we are going to progress. And one of the things I've always said to my own clients, in the aftermarket, we always talk about 5 years from now. I said, let's stick maximum 2-3 years out. That's it. Because we don't even know what's going to be like 2 years from now. So we've got to take 1 day, 1 week, 1 month at a time, and that's it. Stay focused. Keep the communication going internally and with your clients properly, and move forward and listen.
I failed to do something in the beginning. You know what I failed to do? I failed to talk a little bit about you, Robert. Bob Greenwood is an AMAM accredited Master Automotive Manager. He's president and CEO of the Automotive Aftermarket E-Learning Center. AAEC is a company focused on providing business management resources and development for the independent sector of the aftermarket. Bob has over 40 years of business management experience with the independent sector, and is a consulting independent retail shops on the facts of all their business operations. So Bob is a coach for the independent service professional. He's one of 150 worldwide AMI approved instructors. So I didn't tee that thing up in the beginning. It's well deserving of that. Bob writes a ton of articles. You just can't miss reading some of Bob Greenwood's great wisdom. And thank you for bringing the monkey business story to us. So there's a lot of young shop owners that I know are getting training. I mean, they're with Vision and all the great online resources, especially in the last 6 months and coming up. Yeah. And hopefully we're going to go back face to face soon, one of these days. They got to be very frustrated, Bob, to get this kind of training without their boss being there. But they may have insights to want to open their own shop someday. And I think part of why the younger people are doing, ooh, let me at it, boss, and then they're just deciding to leave and start it on their own is because the older generation isn't embracing that.
Yeah. I do an 8-hour class, 1 hour a week for 8 consecutive weeks. And the students that I've had in these classes from all over North America, I've had students there where their boss signed them up to go through it, but their boss has never been through it himself.
My God. That is a crime.
Oh, and I sit there and I think, what are these people thinking? Because the student by the 8th session is so frustrated because he knows or she knows they're not going to be able to put anything into place because the boss will just say, this is the way we've always done it. We're not doing that nonsense. It's so sad, so sad. And you want to talk about discouraging people in this industry? Man, there's a lot of discouraged people. And I really feel for them. I really do. But they've got to push hard to move on.
The older generation, what's different from the last generation to now is the fact that we have camp, we have my podcast, we have the access to social media, we have the coolest way to broadcast stuff like this, and it's starting to really make a difference. And if we're and as people will watch this on the camp website and they'll watch it on social media, and we'll promote the heck out of this over the next week or two, and we want to keep this story alive because it's an important one. If you're that 50-some-year-old-ish and you got 8 to 10 years in front of you and you just want to coast out, then here's my thought, Bob. Succession planning could very well be in the plans. Get this monkey business off your back, maybe look for an internal candidate and give that person some responsibility in the business to move your business to a place that when you pass it off and on, it is bigger and better than it is today.
And you can get your money out of it.
Yeah. Oh,
it scares me what some people think their business is worth. It's not worth a whole lot when I don't make net profit. I can't take out a professional wage, and a professional wage, I'm sorry to say, is in the $150,000 a year range for the owner. I can't do that. My business isn't growing properly. I don't achieve a 35% ROI, return on investment, which is a separate measurement. What do you got to sell? You know, that's your emotion talking. And this generation has got to say, I've got to get on with making my business profitable and developing it so I do have something to sell in my retirement. So there's going to be a lot of disappointed people, I think.
You said something here. Sorry to say, a professional wage is $150,000. You may want to change that up a bit. You may want to say, damn it, the professional wage is $150,000.
Well, remember,
don't apologize.
Karma, I'm Canadian. We always say sorry first.
Oh my. So you bring up such a great point as to why this younger generation needs to be involved in the business. And so let me just whisper into the younger generation's ear. If you're loving what you're hearing from Bob, and please go and tell your owner the monkey story, because it's a great one. Talk about conditioning. And why don't you just say, hey, listen, one day I'm going to own my own business. It may be yours or somewhere else, but I'm pent up. I need to do some stuff. I want to try some. I'd love you to try some things. And I don't know if you've ever thought or considered, but I need to rise in this company, and I may even be a candidate for you. I'm not sure our younger generation's having the discussion with the owners today.
And don't be afraid to have that discussion with the owner. If you have that passion and that desire to own your own business, then perhaps the current discussion with the current owner is the greatest first step you could make. I think you'll have a lot to discuss and a lot to learn. And you'll see if the possibilities for that current business could be yours, or in reality, there's no way. I must start looking for something else. So owners are looking at the older owners. So how do I retain competent people in my shop? Well, hello, maybe it's time to have good, solid conversations for their future and where it's going, and make those changes so that they can embrace their future, which will be the right changes. That's so important today.
Yeah, it is. Anybody have a question at all for Bob? We have we're watching. There's a few of you guys, and there probably will be more over the next 2, 3, 4, 5 days watching this replay. Love to have comments in Facebook, shares, and likes. So if anyone's got anything for Bob before we get out of here, because we just try to make these great, half-hour little venues for you. Bob, profits keep dropping. That's one of the things that you said. And isn't that a litmus test for, there's something wrong?
Yeah, you would think. Absolutely. But I think a lot of shop owners don't really know what they should be netting today, what the guidelines are, because consider that the future sale of your business will more likely be to a business type person who knows how to study your business mathematically and see that it's not worth a whole lot. So they will be business people. Even the newer generation who are going through the management classes are learning the new math, the new strategies for growing the business. And if you, the owner, are not even in sync with that, the odds of you losing those people will be very real.
So you had said something earlier, and I kind of almost want to maybe put a bow on this thing and suggest, Bob, from your great wisdom, what are the things that are indicative to lack of change, lack of future? a cloud-based software system, DVI, and by the way, don't get me started on DVI and how many people have it, but it's not implemented to, 10% of I have DVI, but no, you don't. No, you don't, because I've talked to people that are using it in ways that are mind-blowing and integrated into their software. Give us some of the things, the checkbox. If this is happening, then you're in trouble.
Well, actually, I'm going to revert back to what we did a few podcasts back, where we had 22 questions. And those questions nail it down where the problem is.
Yeah.
And I think, send me an email. I'll send you the 22 questions. No holds barred. Because you've got to start looking at it. And this new generation is starting to embrace technology, starting to embrace the efficiencies of how things can work. And you, as the new, old owner, have got to let them go at it. And they will make things more efficient. And when you're more efficient, your cost per build hour goes down. When cost per build hour goes down, my net profit goes up. Because the newer generation is focused on productivity, whereas the old generation is focused on activity. They follow car count. They follow sales. They don't follow build hours. So the whole math of the business is different today. But that is what happens in a profession. It changes up. And you must understand those measurements. And those measurements keep changing as well. So you just don't hold on to one measurement that you learned 5 years ago. That's so out of date now. But the newer generation gets it.
Yeah, you brought up a great point. And let me just share with everyone this episode that you and I did together, how to make your business better and more productive than what it is today, episode 612. And that was fun. And you actually have your email in that. But if you want to give your email out, that would be just super duper.
Yep. My email is greenwood@aaec.ca. Apple, Edward, Charlie.ca. Just could you send me the 22 questions? I'd love to have them. I'll send them right back to you. No problem.
We'll put that in the social posts if you could do that for us, Tracy. And that would be really nice. There it is, greenwood@aaec.ca. Super duper. Hey, any final words here to put a bow on this, Robert, as to it's a great monkey story. In fact, let me just encourage everyone to just sit around the dinner table or the lunch table today or tomorrow and tell it about what negative conditioning does to a life and or a business. Yes.
Yeah. And I think if we can acknowledge it to start with, that's the first start. But just to say, this is the way we've always done it, it's going to remain that, you're in trouble. So let's start acknowledging where our weaknesses are, but also let's not be negative here. Also acknowledge what you're doing right. Our strengths, what are they? Make that list. Then from there, let's move on. What things do we have to move forward on? What are our weaknesses? But we must get started, people. Because you know what? This year is going to fly by. Next thing you know, we're back into January, February next year, and we're going to say, what happened? What happened? Take 1 day, 1 week at a time to start and see what you can start achieving and stick with it. And I've said it before, you got to get over your biggest enemy, which is your self-discipline to execute. Don't get sidetracked. Give it to the younger team. Let them go at it, and they will get things done. And enjoy the show.
Talk about speed, Robert. Thank you for bringing that up. Did you ever live in a quarterly mindset? Yep. Quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3, quarter 4. A lot of people plan their businesses like in quarterly chunks because it goes by so fast. Yep. Surprise everyone. It's almost the end of Q1 to your point. Your point. Life is going, it is amazing. We're all so darn busy doing so many things and not necessarily all the right things. Wow.
Yeah. And we can fix it, but you got to get started.
Yeah. Great advice from Bob Greenwood from the Automotive Aftermarket E-Learning Center. Great, wise business coach, been around doing this thing for a lot of years, very respected in the industry. And you're here on the CAMP website or the CAMP Facebook page. And go to the website, professionals.org and check it out. So thank you for being here, Robert.
Thanks very much, Carl. I appreciate it.
And to everyone, have a great day.
Thank you.
Sorry, Bob, I knocked you out. Hit the wrong switch.
How did it come across?